Hazelpixel here, and today I will be reviewing the latest game I just played, which is Remnant from the Ashes. Remnant from the Ashes is a newest game from Gunfire Games, and it's being published by Perfect World, I think. And this is a really fun game. The gameplay, the gunplay, it's very good. It's not as good as a AAA games for sure, but if you like something a hybrid of Destiny and Dark Souls without the difficulty and a fair checkpoint, this is the game for you. And obviously in this kind of games you have customization, and all the weapons and mods in this game is very variative. I really like the selection they have here, and even some of the weapons, especially the weapons that you got from the boss, they have a really unique animation for reloading, for shooting, and how the bullets are shaped or shot, It is this really good, and there are over 20 or 30 of them throughout the game. You found a lot of them from the bosses, but there are some secret area as well. If you like to explore every nook and cranny in this type of game, this is one of the greatest way to play this game, because there's always a new secrets to be found in every world, and especially if you replay it, because you won't find anything in your first playthrough. And there's also a mod called the adventure mode, which is a bit different from something like Diablo, but it's pretty good. It's like a non-story mode, so you can just explore and grind, and there's a lot of replayability in that section, I can guarantee you, because there's 3 words that you can choose, and each word will generate something different. Even the bosses are sometimes different, and the enemies will scale up to your level, so there's balancing already involved, so you don't need to worry about if my gear is too low or if my gear is too high. You can go straight into adventure mode even if you only play the tutorial, so you don't need to worry about it. And for the graphics, I like the environment, the world, like in this desert area there's like a black sun that's permanently on the sky. I really like that. And the other area that I like is the forest area, which I think is the last world that you will visit. That one has a really nice vibe to it. I really like it. And for the maps, like I told you before, it's beautiful, but it's not too variative. Even though it's randomly generated, all the maps can feel a little bit samey. There's maybe like this 1 or 2 branching path, but most of the area looks totally the same. The corridors, the buildings, they're all the same. It's just slight differences, and every time you enter the new area, it will generate something similar. You will need to play it, and you know what I mean. So now about the boss. I've been talking about the weapon that you got from the bosses, but how are the boss fights? I can say that it's very good, and every bosses has its own mechanic. You have to develop a new strategy for each bosses, because they have a different strategy. It's not the same bosses over and over again. It's not just a dude with a sword or just a wolf monster that's been copy pasted like a bunch of times just with different colors. No, all the bosses are different. They have different way to to attack, and some of them even summon. Most of them summon some minions. Okay, that is like a mechanic to the game, because you need to keep getting more bullets, and the boss surely won't drop them, so usually they will call some minions for you to kill them, and then you will gather the ammo and you fight the bosses again. But all of the bosses are different. It's obviously not as hard as Dark Souls, but you still need some strategy if you want to win, especially if you play with 3 people, because they're a bit harder if you're playing with lots of people. Now, that's all and good. The boss fights, the world, and the gameplay, but the story I think is a bit lacking. It's really lacking, in fact, that I can finish it in under 10 hours, and that's even with all the exploring, all the meddling around, all the chatting and going back to the cities, all the AFK. So I think if I played it continuously and really speed running it, maybe I can finish it in under 4 to 5 hours in normal difficulty at least. And for the customization, the mods and the weapons are good, even the armors are okay in my opinion. But for the character, the faces, it's very simple. You can only select the face, the scars, and the skin colors, but nothing else. Like, you cannot even change the eye shape. And what makes it worse is our character is always displayed on the screen because it's a third-person shooter. It's not a first-person shooter like Destiny. You will only see your character in cutscenes in that game. But in this game, you will see your character all the time. There's no way to change it to first person either. So yeah, that's weird. And another thing about the world, like every world has its own enemies, like its own monsters. But every world only have about 5 kinds of enemies. So in total there's like 20 kinds of enemies. I think it's a bit lacking because you fight them a lot. And I think you should have add more. Like maybe 10 each per world, or maybe add some variation to them, because I still think they're all a bit samey. And the worst thing I think about this game is the difficulty settings. It's such a shame that they only make this game with normal in mind, because if you crank the difficulty too hard, there's no reward of anything besides cosmetics. I think that should be expanded upon, you know. It's something like in Diablo, because I think they're trying to hybrid a bit of Diablo as well in this game. So in Diablo, if you don't know, if you finish the game, and even if you max the level, there's still like a paragon system, and that makes the next playthrough even more rewarding because you keep gaining levels, you keep gaining new weapons, new maps. Even the side quests, they can be a bit different. But in this game, no, maybe a bit different bosses and maps, but it's not as variative as Diablo. And the rewards, it's very disappointing. There's nothing else except for cosmetic items, which is a bit lacking. I've been playing Monster Hunter World for the longest time, and that game has one of the most, you know, like better reward system for cranking up the difficulty, you know. And the other worst things I think this game made is the ending. The ending is very anticlimactic. Like, you just won against the one who caused the apocalypse on Earth. You just went away on a boat to nowhere without any explanation why you do that, you know. Like, after you finish the game, what else should you do? The game just roll the credits after you get on a boat, and there's nothing else to do except for maybe replaying the game again on adventure mode on you know, like harder difficulty. But the story is very lacking in that department. Like, the ending is very rushed. Maybe I need to play the DLC for some reason to continue the story, and maybe there's a true ending after the normal ending in the finale edition, but it doesn't make me want to play the DLC either, because I'm afraid to be disappointed by the story, even though I know the story is not the point of this game. But come on, even Monster Hunter World, which is very lacking story-wise, they just make up excuses to make you kill other monsters, is still more rewarding in story department, because it makes you feel like a badass, and when you finish the game, it feels like you accomplished something. Like, oh yeah, I just killed the most big-ass monster in the new world. But in this game, you just literally save the world by killing this root of the problem. Maybe I'm missing something. If you want to explain it to me, put it in comment, okay? In the end, Remnant from the Ashes, not a bad game. I'm a bit conflicted about the story and some of its choices, like the difficulty settings. So I think if you wanna play this game, just, you know, like doing something new with friends, and you wanna play something different, you can try this game, even just for the gameplay. You just can play the adventure mode if you don't care about the story, and it will still be a good time. But I'm just a bit disappointed because the potential of this game is wow. I can see that this game can be something even bigger, you know. But they just kind of fell flat at the end. I feel like this can be something more amazing, but in the end, after I playing this game, I won't buy DLC at this moment. Maybe I will change my mind in the future, but for now I will just move on to another game. So for this game, I will rate this game decent, which is fair considering the length of the game and the content of the game. The gameplay is what makes it for me. Okay, so if you got this game from Epic Game Store, which is free 2 weeks ago or maybe 3 weeks ago, you should play this game because you got it for free, right? You should play it with some friends and have a good time. But if you wanna play it alone, it's okay too, because it will feel more like Dark Souls if you're playing alone, because some of the bosses, when you're alone, they will always home in on you. So that could be pretty good. But yeah, that's it, I guess. If you wanna buy it on Steam or on Epic Game Store, it's about $20, I think. Which is okay, but I think it's better if you buy it at $10 because the content is there's not a lot of content. Okay, I think that's it for now. Thank you for watching my video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.